With 3v3 being over, that officially means there is only one season left of the Darkside Vision Raycron as well as the Hermit Yodacron. We will get through this. What's up, Knights of X, and welcome to the best 5v5 teams for the month of September and for the 5v5 up-and-coming Grand Arena season. Very much looking forward to this 5v5 season. I think we got a really fun Datacron set to work with, and I'm really looking forward to it because we might be able to come up with some more counters that we haven't had before against these very overpowered focused Datacrons. So, hope you guys are in for the ride for the best 5v5 teams. If you guys haven't seen my videos before for the previous months, I break it into 3 separate categories. I have the best defensive teams, offensive teams, and a category called Flex for where the teams can be used on both either offense and defense throughout the season. So it is a very long season, guys, and I'm going to do it a little bit different than I have in the previous months because I constantly get asked, hey Vex, you're constantly changing your defense from your list. Why is that? And number one, I have to kind of change it up since I'm a content creator. I can't set the same teams over and over. So that's kind of the reason. But also what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you different variations of teams that you can change up throughout the season. So you're not just locked to a single team for the whole run where counters will come up and running and it just gets beat by something over and over and over. So I'm going to show you a bunch of different variations of teams, some repeat characters that are going to be in different spots, all normal. And why I'm doing it is so that you have a different path throughout the season and different variations. So that's pretty much why you're going to see a bunch of repeats of characters or different variations of squads. So with that out of the way, guys, always reminding you, if you enjoy my Grand Arena content, you want to support this channel, don't forget to like the video and to subscribe to the channel for more content, guys. That is the best way to support me. Shows you guys appreciate the content and it gets me out there. So really do appreciate the support. With that out of the way and that said, let's get to the best defensive teams first for the 5v5 season. Best 5v5 defensive teams. We have to start with the best team in the game currently with the Focus Datacron, Kylo Ren with the Darkside Vision Raycron. Guys, we already know how abusive this team can be. Only 2 really solid counters as in JMK with either Mace or 5s or Bane and Malik. And if those 2 counters do not work for you, you are absolutely boned. There's just no simple way around it. Darkside Vision Ray is one of the best focused Datacrons or Datacrons ever printed to date. If your go-to counters do not work, this will solo carry your Grand Arenas. There is no other way but to set this team on defense for the remainder of the season while we have it, and it can almost guarantee you a win if those counters do not work. The reason I am putting First Order Stormtrooper instead of Crew in here is because his unique is very annoying with the extra assist that could be a potential problem with certain counters. Kylo can build his ultimate up even faster. Darkside Ray attacks out of turn, you get fear, and you're just building up all of their damage. That's why I like Stormtrooper in there. And also, I put Hux with my unaligned Force User team. So I think that if you guys want to throw in Hux, or if you want to throw in Crew, absolutely fine if you don't plan on using him for an unaligned Force User team. But the reason why I'm putting Stormtrooper in here instead of Crew is specifically for that reason and for his annoying unique. So just want to get that out of the way. Now, the second team I want to talk about is going to be Rey. And I'm going to show you a bunch of different Rey squads, guys. 3 different Rey squads as a potential that you could change it up for the season. The first one, which I very much used a lot last season, got a lot of success, was Rey, Ben, the Barriss Offbeat level 9, General Kenobi, and Cal Kestis. And the reason why this team is so strong is because it has so much counter synergy with other teams. Barriss with the healing, with the crit. If you get crit, your team's going to heal. Also, her level 9 is very broken, so if you do not take care of her last, she's going to give a bunch of offense to the rest of your team, and you're going to be really boned if Rey gets the ultimate or if Ben Solo hits under protection. That's a lot of damage. So, really big fan of Barriss here. General Kenobi is there to be a very annoying tank and also apply critical hit immunity. When critical hit immunity is on your Rey team, she can no longer lose her Inspire stack. She needs to get crit. That is a very obnoxious interaction. Very strong on a Rey team. And General Kenobi is not really needed for a JMK team at the moment on offense. If you're going against Kylo, you're better off using Mace or 5s. So you have to put him in somewhere. Might as well put him with Rey. Very strong synergy. And then as the 5th, I have Cal Kestis because he is so annoying with Rey. His protection up is very annoying to deal with, especially if you don't land a buff immunity. That's a lot of protection up. So there's times if Rey gets into ultimate and you're critting Rey, she's going to be healing to full health because of Barris is unique, and also be getting protection up stacks because of Cal Kestis is unique. Also grants max health to the team. Very strong combo. Will it get beat by Queen Amidala? Most likely with the support crown, yes, but most variations of Queen with the support crown will beat any Ray squad. So, but I do think that it will shut down other counters, like it could stop Vegito, not a 100% win rate. Leia will have some issues if you don't deal with Barris correctly. So it's really good for stopping certain counters, but by no means is it unbeatable. Like the support cron with Queen should make good work with it. But that is one variation. A second variation is, I know a lot of the community does not have Ahsoka yet. So if you don't have Ahsoka and you have Ezra, Ezra is very good with the raid team. Slot him in there instead of Cal Kestis. You can move your Cal Kestis to like an unaligned force user team then. But you still have the synergy with General Kenobi and Barris. Very obnoxious. Ezra is one of the best characters in this game. With a race squad, even more annoying. And now this is a third variation that I want to talk about that was used I used a little bit last season, and it's specifically to counter the Queen Amidala support cron, because if you throw in Mon Mothma in a race squad, she's untargetable. So that means Barris has to go down, and she's going to revive the entire team. So it's not a 100% guarantee stop, but it lowers the win rate by like 20 or 30%, which is pretty good, because there can be situations in the battle where you make a mess up, and then Mon Mothma is the last remaining, and she revives the entire team because Barris goes down, untargetable. That could cause issues for that counter, and that's why I want to throw it in there, that if you're seeing your opponent using Queen Amidala with a support cron, throwing in Mon Mothma could be a wrench into that plan because she is untargetable. So I just wanted to go over those 3 different race squads for all possible variations throughout the season. Now we're going to talk about Ahsoka Tano. And guys, Ahsoka, in my opinion, is very hard to place on defense without Ezra because she has many counters. But that doesn't mean she's bad on defense with Ezra. If your opponent has a great mother counter up and running with the speeds, keep in mind, she can be put on defense with Ezra as long as you have the turn meter cron for light side. If you have that, there is no possible way Great Mothers will be able to outspeed your Ahsoka team, and the counter is poop. So, Ahsoka with Ezra and a regular Spectre team with a 25% turn meter cron, if you have the speeds correct, will stop a lot of the off-meta counters. It will require a stronger counter like Leia or Queen Amidala with a support cron situation. So I just want to make that clear. Ezra with Ahsoka is still a strong team. If you want to stop Night Sisters, 25% turn meter cron. And that leaves to the second variation of an Ahsoka team, is that if you want to move Ezra to a different team like Rey or JMK, which I'm going to show below, you could put Ahsoka with Wat Tambor, the rest of the Spectre team, and make sure you use the Ahsoka Tano or the light side protection up level 3, and hopefully you have a lot of health in the Datacron. That could potential time out some other counters. It'll stop Bo-Katan, so that is good to know. But Great Mothers still have a possibility of beating it, but with the protection up level 3, there is always a possibility of a timeout, which is a win for you. So there's no really other variation of an Ahsoka team that I can think of without Ezra that's going to be viable. At least Wat Tambor throws a wrench into the plans and makes her a pretty strong tank on her own. Your goal is to make a timeout happen and get a hold. That's why I like Wat Tambor on this lineup. Now, we got to talk about this JMK super team, and we saw a glimpse of this in 3v3. Now, Ezra on this team could also cause major issues in 5v5, but not unbeatable. The Balin counter is still 50%, so it's about like 1 in 2 chance of beating it. So there is potential to get holds with this, and that the problem is that if you put this on defense, you're going to have to rely on your Bane and Malik to take out their opposing Kylo. So just keep that in mind, guys. If you put this on defense, you got to make sure your Bane and Malik work. But if you want to go super hard on defense, you set Ahsoka with Wat, your Rey with your Barris and Mon Mothma, and you put your Ezra with JMK, that could be a pretty tough defense to get through. Might cause issues for your opponent. And if you just set that really hard defense, could potentially cost you or get you a win. But very tough team, still possibly beaten by Balin. Not 100% counter, but also not 100%, win rate for them. I just want to throw in that JMK super team. Could be pretty tough. Now, this is a complete theory craft. I've done a little bit of testing in Squad Arena, but there's so many JMKs that it's like very hard to test. but this is like a little sneak peek of a team that I faced last season with the Apo Datacron at the end. Really blew my mind. It really was insane. But my mentality is okay, Darth Vader's Focus Datacron is kind of eh, and a regular Lord Vader squad with the clones can kind of get countered by Bo-Katan if modded correctly. Not all players are going to have that up and running, but there is a possibility for Bo-Katan to beat a regular Lord Vader team. I'm going to try, sometimes, not all the time, this is one of those, change it up a bit. Darth Vader lead, Lord Vader in the lineup with Apo, Scorch, and the Second Sister Datacron. Now, if you guys look at the Second Sister Datacron, she gets, I believe, 5% offense per debuff inflicted by your team. Lord Vader, boom, AoE, massive amounts of debuffs. You have Darth Vader taking his turn, boom, does AoE. That's a bunch of debuffs. You have Scorch with his first special. That's an AoE debuff. Second Sister has the potential to hit extremely hard with that Datacron. So, not unbeatable. Leia will probably walk over it, but if Leia is needed for another squad, then you're really going to be in some trouble. This probably will stop Bo-Katan. Not 100% sure, but I think this would be a fun, interesting defense to try to kind of change it up on your opponent every now and then. That's the reason why I'm doing it. If you want to keep your regular Lord Vader team intact, go right ahead with the clones. This is just a fun, try-out kind of thing to fully utilize the Second Sister's Datacron and see if she can get a bunch of offense from those debuffs landing. If you have the Darth Vader Leadership Zeta, that's a ton of debuffs sticking. So I just thought it would be a really fun interaction and kind of stealing from my opponent from the guild VDO, which is Vanguard of the Solder. Very good theory craft by them last season. I'm replacing Mara Jade with Second Sister, and hopefully I can get some holds this season. So keep an eye on this team, maybe. You never know. Then we got to talk about Mace Windu, and the reason why Mace is on defense is because I don't really think... I haven't found a use for him on offense in Grand Arena for him to be like, oh, I'm going to use him for here. He'll require a stronger Sith team to take him out, so they're going to either have to use like a Malgus team with Malik or a Traya squad, which is a pretty good trade-off because those are very strong Grand Arena teams. So I'm going to keep Mace on defense this season. Not a majority of the player base has him, so I'll be using him there. If you don't have Mace Windu, replace him with Keller and Beck. Still a pretty annoying team, and might get you some holds. So, but Mace is going to be on defense for me. Then we're going to talk about the new Bad Batch. And guys, I don't know if you saw last season, but I think this is a team that I'm going to put on defense sometimes with the Rolocron, because this could be an infinite Terminator loop interaction. So if they don't use a very strong team like a GL or something like that, and they try to just, underman this with the Rolocron, you're going to be screwed. That's a lot of attacks out of turn. Crosshair is going to be removing his stacks of Shaken quickly, and the amount of damage that's coming is going to be bananas. So expect to see some of these Bad Batch teams with the Rolocron, because all those attacks out of turn are pretty dangerous. So just want to keep that out there. Very strong interaction. Now we're going to talk about Mandalorians, and this team can now officially be set on defense again because there's no Sidious Kron. Going to be a ton of damage. We still have a Mandalorian Datacron with the Retribution 6. Still going to require a stronger team to take out. The reason I'm putting it on defense is because the banner sometimes with Maul lead is not the best. There's not a lot of banner recovery unless you put OG Bo-Katan, and I think that doesn't synergize with Gar Saxon and Super Commando. So I just want to point out that this team is going to be pretty annoying on defense. Not unbeatable, but it can definitely get some holds for you. Then Gungans, guys. I like Gungans on defense because they're very annoying. There's no really cheap counter to Gungans. Traya is still an expensive counter. 2 Omicrons pretty much with Savage and Traya. Very tough team, so don't underestimate them. If you do, you're in for a long night because Tarpals is going to be spamming AoEs, doing a lot of damage, and sometimes if they have the Irresistible Stun 6, that'll shut down certain other counters. That could stop Bo-Katan, you never know. So just keep an eye out for Gungans, still a very annoying team. Next up, this is going to be interesting. This team could potentially be used on offense to counter Ahsoka's. It definitely could, but I think it can be a real pain in the butt on defense, especially with the Rose Tico level 9. She's going to be giving Deathmark guys, and if they have an unresistible stun level 6 or the turn meter ramping level 6, you're not going to take a turn if they take a turn. So you get the 25% turn meter in the beginning, the ramping turn meter or the irresistible stun with the Rose Tico 9. Get ready to get destroyed because that's a very obnoxious team. I still think they're Kyber 1 viable, but even with the Datacron, expect some big things from this team this season. Next up, I have Trench, and the reason Trench is in here is because he's a good filler team. He's not impossible to beat, but if you guys want to go a little bit harder on offense, or you're trying to figure out a team to just fill in for your map, that's the perfect thing for Trench, because your opponent has to throw in something decent, but nothing overpowered. But if they do end up overkilling it with a, very good team, then they're screwed for your backwall teams. That's a pretty good thing for you. So Trench is just a filler team for the map this season, in my opinion. Then we have Saw Gerrera with the Rebel Fighters, and this is another example of a team that's very annoying. They're not as strong without the Saw level 9 and the max health Rebel Fighter level 6, but that doesn't mean they're useless. If you guys put the Rolocron with this team as well, also very strong. I mean, there's so many possibilities with this Rolocron that the potential is limitless, because there's so many light side teams that don't have GLs you can have a lot of success with. So Saw Gerrera is another team that's going to be a staple on defense for me, but going to be really good with the Rolocron as well. So keep an eye on that. Next up, I have Inquisitors, and I do think Inquisitors are going to be very tough to beat on defense this season, especially if you have the 9th Sister level 9. They're going to be gaining a lot of max health. You have 9th Sister modded for health as well. Her basic is going to one-shot some characters, or at least do a lot of work. So really pay attention to this team. Very strong with the Death Mark mechanics on 3rd Sister's lead Omicron. Very, very tough. I don't think Phoenix is going to be able to take care of it as easy as we think, especially with the 9th Sister Cron. So just please keep an eye on it. Inquisitors, very, very strong. And the last team I'm recommending for defense, and I put it for last because not a lot of the player base might have it. You could bring them up to relics because you can at, I think, 4 or 5 star now. But I'm going to be recommending Pirates. I think that Ethano, SM33, Kix, Vayne, and Brutus will be a fun combo to put in there. You got your tank and Vayne, you got your revive with the Kix Focus Datacron as your support character. SM33 is your damage dealing conquest character. And Brutus is pretty fun with his debuffs and his big damage. So Pirates, pretty fun to use on defense, I think, and they might get some holds. That is going to wrap up the defensive teams, guys. I know that took a while, but I just felt like the need to explain all of those different squads. We're now going to get into the offensive teams. Starting with the offensive teams, we have to talk about Wampa. Wampa with his Focus Datacron. I don't think I underestimated it in the preseason, but I definitely ranked it lower than it should have been. Wampa with his Focus Datacron is amazing. Potential to beat GLs like Leia or Jabba. Jabba, you got to be careful with. I'm going to talk about that a little later, but Wampa still has good solo potential, especially with this Focus Datacron. Such a beast of a unit with it. Expect big things from him this season. Next up, we got to talk about the go-to for SLKR. Jedi Master Kenobi with Mace is my preference. If you guys want to throw in 5s, you can throw in 5s as well. Both work. It's just all about preference. I like him when he removes the stealth, but the potential goal for me is to try to get this to work without the Hermit Yoda Focus Datacron. If I can, that's a win for me. If I can use the Hermit Yoda Focus Datacron on another team, then that's good value and trade-off for that. So I got to find a good protection up Cron with good health in order to do that. But that will be my go-to SOKR counter this season if I use Kenobi. Then we got to talk about Leia. Leia, in my opinion, is a offensive GL just because of how good she is at taking out almost every single Galactic Legend team in the game besides SOKR right now. She is such a beast. She's got good banner recovery, really good cheese mechanic with Jyn Erso where she can't go down. You can literally just put stealth on everyone else, have R2 put it on Jyn, and the team is fully safe. So Leia on offense is always a staple for me. So good. Next offensive GL we're going to talk about is Jedi Master Luke. And he's on the offensive list specifically because there is a Inquisitor Datacron. I don't think JML is very safe with an Inquisitor Datacron around, especially if players use them on offense. So JML is going to have much better use on offense this season, especially if you use the Hermit Yoda Datacron. You can actually beat a ton of different teams like Lord Vader. You could probably beat Ahsoka. You could beat JMK. So I do think that JML is very strong offensive GL this season and for majority of the seasons going forward. Next, I'm going to show these two in a combo. We're going to talk about Bane with Malik. The go-to counter for me for SLKR with Darkside Ray. Very good. Got me out of a pinch. Pretty much won me a majority of my Grand Arenas last 3v3 season and 5v5. The big sketchy thing is do you want to send in a feeder with Dark Trooper again in 5v5? Or do you want to go for a potential one-shot? For me personally, I had way more success in 5v5 than 3v3. I don't know why. You'd think it would be harder. But Bane and Malik proved to be way more successful in 5v5 than 3v3 for me. Probably going to use either the Vader focused Datacron or the Rolo Datacron because of the stats alone are insane. So, have to throw that combination in there. That's the go-to for SLKR. If you guys don't use Bane with Malik for a different counter, him with Sith Eternal is a very good combo as well. Good at taking out Ahsoka with Ezra sometimes or any other superpowered team. Very good combination together. I like them split. For the most part, I like doing Sith Eternal in a solo scenario for, high banners. But if you guys need a super team, Sith Eternal Bane is your go-to. Which leaves the next pair. I'm going to show Malgus in two different pairs because I'm going to show him if you use Bane with Malik, you're going to be down Malik. You have to use other Sith characters. So I'm throwing in Sith Assassin and Sith Marauder with Revan and Basila. Not as strong without Malik, not nearly as strong, but you can still take out a number of good teams with it. So I'm showing two different variations. Obviously, the main one is going to be with Malik. That's your super Malgus team, but you got to get rid of SLKR somehow. So that's why I'm listing the both of them here. In terms of offense, I'm going to show just one variation for most players that if you don't feel like using a combined Vegito team, I'm going to show a regular Starkiller team here. You could use your Scav Raycron here. You could, but I have better plans for her later on. If you guys don't want to use Scav Ray with the later team, just take out Visa Smart and put Scav Ray here. But Starkiller is still a very good team. In my neck of the woods, not really used as much on his own. He kind of is used with a Malicos team, which creates Vegito. But I am showing the variation of him on offense. This would be the team you would want to use and could be good against certain Ray comps if they don't set a very powerful Ray. But want to throw that in there. You guys are going to think I'm a psycho, but okay. Vader focused Datacron with Vader. We have to see how this guy's going to perform. I really am hoping he can do something in 5v5. His performance in 3v3 was embarrassing, and we need to find a better use for him. We really do. If this team does not have potential in 5v5, don't use it with his Datacron. Use his focused Datacron for other teams for the stats, because it's just not worth it. It's simply not worth it. The Datacron alone is amazing with the stats, but the team, we're going to have to test out and see. So you might see me do a bunch of tests in the beginning half to see what this freaking guy can do, because it's Darth Vader. Darth Vader should be able to walk the floor with most teams. Very disappointing Datacron so far, but I'm hoping it has potential. Next up, Bo-Katan Mandalore. I'm going to be using her specifically to take out Lord Vader with the Dark Side clones this season, and that's why I haven't listed Lord Vader yet in both the offense and defense section yet, because we're going to talk about it later. But if you have Bo-Katan modded correctly with a speed order, you're going to take out Lord Vader crons, guys. You don't need the Rolo Datacron. If you don't have the Rolo Datacron, or if you don't have the Bo-Katan team modded correctly, throw in the Rolocron. Lord Vader's going to be completely annihilated off of defense with that Datacron. But even without it, Bo-Katan can still take out Lord Vader. I might make a video talking about that. Let me know in the comment section down below if you guys would like something like that. I could talk about it. But that's why she's at offense, because she has great banner recovery, good at taking out Lord Vader still with the Dark Side clones, and also a number of different teams. I really like her use on offense a lot. Next up, I like throwing in CLS, because CLS with the Rolocron is another potential option. He could take out a bunch of other GLs as well. He is so good with that Datacron. He's cleansing the Rebels when they attack out of turn. They're constantly going to be assisting. That's going to be a bunch of turn meter gains for CLS if they're resisting detrimental effects. It's so good. And CLS is going to be a very good offensive staple this season. If you use the Rolocron with him, I think he's going to be punching up way harder than he normally does. Expect to see some crazy combos. I like to throw in Night Sisters because Night Sisters are pretty good at taking out certain comps. They have good banner recovery with Merrin. There is a Night Sister Datacron this season with the Mother Talzin level 9, or even the Daka level 9. They have the defense to offense conversion, so they could potentially see something, pretty good on offense. On defense, I think they're going to get walked over by Imperial Troopers, so don't even bother putting them on defense. But for offense, maybe we'll be surprised. Maybe we'll see some cool things. Then I'm going to talk about Phoenix, and this specific Phoenix comp is used to take out Reva. Reva is very good, but if they set a Reva squad without the Night Sister Datacron, it'll be beaten by this team, I guarantee it. So please, 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 if your opponent makes the mistake by setting Inquisitors on defense without the Night Sister Cron, I believe Phoenix will walk all over them. The Brood Alpha is in there because when Grand Inquisitor starts his turn, he's going to torture a character. You're going to torture the spawn. There's no risk of Captain Rex getting tortured, and the counter is pretty much cake from there unless their 7th sister does not get dazed. That's the RNG, but it very rarely happens, but that's why Phoenix is on offense this season. Then we get to talk about Dark Trooper Moff Gideon. Very good with Captain Enoch. I do like him for banner recovery as well because of Moff Gideon and the different synergy with turn meter control. It helps get the banners back. So I do like DTMG this season. Very good on offense. A little too easily beaten on defense by Rogue One. So that's why I'm putting him in the offense category. And the last team I'm recommending for offense is going to be an Afra team. And I'm throwing in HK47 and IG88. I had to recently Relic 9 my HK47 because I lost a trivia with Rabid Beaver. So not too happy about that. But hopefully he can get some use in offense this season. So shout out to Rabid Beaver for that fun little trivia game. But yeah, Afra could be in here. If you don't plan on using Grievous at all, you can slot in HK for like B2. But if you guys were planning on using B2 with a Grievous squad, you can throw in your leftover droids. I didn't throw in Darth Vader in here because I'm using him for his focus Datacron potentially, or that Lord Vader team. But that's why Afra's on the offensive list. Hopefully she can still do some stuff on offense. But that's going to wrap up the offensive list, guys. We're now going to end it with the flex category, which is always my favorite. So let's get to it. Starting out the flex. First time Lord Vader with the Dark Side clones is making it into the flex category. And it's specific for one reason. Because of the Bo-Katan counter. I don't want my Lord Vader getting taken out by a Bo-Katan. I don't think that's good value for you. You just spent a whole bunch of months grinding this very tough team, getting them all. I have them at Relic 9. I don't want them getting taken out by Bo-Katan. So, depending on my opponent, depending on what they're going to use, if they have the counter up and running, he's going to stay in the flex category. Some of the players in the lower end of Kyber 1, or Kyber 2, or Kyber 3, you might not have to worry about this. I don't think your opponent's going to be able to take out Lord Vader if the Bo-Katan team is not practiced or they don't have the Rolocron, so that's why he's in the flex category. He can actually take out a bunch on offense. He can take out Jabba. He could possibly take out a JMK with Ezra. Potentially, I do it in Squad Arena every now and then. I think you need a good Datacron, but he's going to have use. It's still a very good team. He's not Lord Failure anymore, but Bo-Katan can still walk over him. So just keep in mind, be careful. Next up in the flex category, I have to talk about Jabba. And I thought he'd be a defensive GL this season, but with the Wampacron, you don't know. You don't know. I think if you don't have the Shorty Datacron up, which provides a bunch of potency and crit avoidance, and I believe defense, if I remember correctly, Jabba might not be a good defensive GL because he might be taken out by Wampa way too easily. So I just want to point out, if your opponent has a very good modded Wampa and you don't have the Shorty Datacron up and running, do not set him on defense. But he has good value on offense regardless. He can take out Balin. He could take out a Traya squad, a solo Traya squad, I believe. Actually, I don't know if he could solo it in 5v5. Scratch that. I think in 3v3 he can, but anyway, even in 5v5, he can take out a bunch of other squads that are very annoying. He's got good banner recovery with his ultimate and his basic. So, wherever you have him, he's going to have use. Next up, we got to talk about, like, my favorite team in the game at the moment. I really cannot stop praising the Great Mother Squad. What a freaking team. They are amazing. I just recently took them up all the Relic 9 on my ult account because of a donation goal on one of the streams. They are the best team in the game that doesn't require a journey guide conquest character by far. They take out Ahsoka. They take out JMK. They take out Jabba. They take out Sith Eternal. They are a Galactic Legend killing team, guys. They are so good on offense, but also on defense, they're very annoying. And we have a Night Sister Datacron with a very overpowered Night Trooper one that was way stronger than I thought it was going to be. It was actually very good in 3v3. I'm hoping it's strong in 5v5. So I'm really looking forward to using this team on offense and defense. Really good. I love them. Now we got to talk about Vegito and one of my favorite teams in the game. This is where I will specifically be using my Scav Raycron on defense for the most part, but even on offense, this could help you absolutely annihilate a Ray team, or if you need to help stun control someone, you can stun Ben solo, and he won't be able to hit under your protection as long as you stun lock him with your Scav Ray. She's also going to be hitting very hard. The more relics on your team, the better. So if you have a whole Relic 7 team or a whole Relic 8 team, she's going to hit like an absolute truck. In order for this team to be defensive viable, I do think you need crew, because I do think it'll get walked over by a Malgus team. Even with crew in there, Malgus could possibly still beat it, but it will not be as easy because of the Scav Raycron. So, Vegito, I love them. Great on offense and great on defense this season. Balin is next, and I really like Balin with the Marok level 9, and there's still debate on the level 6 for the Inquisitor one. I do like the Blind. I think the Blind is very annoying for your opponent. The big thing about the Wordy one is that when stacks of Purge are consumed, they're going to be hit with Expose. That could potentially lead to a one-shot for a enemy counter. So, Balin, very good on offense and defense, could potentially take out a JMK, but still, no matter where you put him, I do like the Hondo in there with Kira. Very good synergy. I like that team the best. Queen Amidala is next. How can you guys? One of the best teams in the game at the moment. Probably the third best Conquest character. I had to make a Conquest video about all Conquest characters ranked. I do think she's in number 3. Possibly. She's in the top 5, without a doubt. This team, the past couple seasons, have made me climb so hard with the support cron. I like Shakti and Echo because they're both supports. Good getting the days. There's a good synergy with Queen Amidala and her first special with Echo's Unique, where she just absolutely one-shots the team. It's actually insanity. Very good on offense, but even on defense, if your counters don't work, you're screwed. Absolutely screwed. So, Queen Amidala with the support cron specifically is nasty work. Next in the flex is Treya, and Treya is one of those teams where if you put it on defense, you got to use a strong counter, but you got to figure out what counter to use because you have to save some stuff for the back. Treya is nasty, very good on offense, good at banner recovery, good at one-shotting people, controlling the battle. One of the best teams in Grand Arena, one of my favorite teams. Got to use them no matter what this season. Offense, defense, going to have value. Next up is Gas, and I like using Gas on defense better because on offense, the banner recovery is rough, but that doesn't mean he's bad on offense because he can get you out of a pinch. He's good at cleaning up solo GLs. He's good at taking out Tuskens. He's good at taking out a number of different squads. Just the banner recovery is the rough part, and you guys know me. I like that efficiency game, so I want the 65s, not the 61s or the 62s. But Gas, no matter what, very good team. Next up is General Grievous with Stap, and General Grievous with Stap is a very good team, especially with the Omicron. Can take out Leia on offense, can be a pain on defense if you don't bring in the right counter. They can get a turn meter train on you, so keep in mind, be cautious if you're going against the Grievous squad. Do not get turn meter locked with the target lock. And if you throw in the Shorty Datacron, they're going to get locked buffs, and the tanks are going to get a lot of defense. So, General Grievous with Stap, very solid team. And the last team we're going to talk about, even for Kyber 1, still has relevance today, is going to be Omicron Qui-Gon Jinn. Very good still, can take out a number of different squads on offense. There's a Jedi Vanguard level 6 where he's going to get damage immunity that could potentially stall the battle out a little bit. I like throwing in 2 leftover Jedi, so I'm throwing in Plo Koon and Grandmaster Yoda. Still viable in Kyber 1 today. I actually got a hole with it last season. Very good stuff. So I just want to talk about both Qui-Gon on offense and defense. Still has value. But guys, that is going to wrap up the best 5v5 teams list. I hope you guys enjoyed it and learned a couple things. Please let me know down below, what teams did I get right? What did I get wrong? What did I miss? Very curious about the community's opinion on this, and let me know what teams you're going to try. Let me know what you think about that Darth Vader team I showed in the beginning. I'm very curious about your opinion. Little theory craft we were cooking up over here at the Vex Chambers. So, hopefully the Knights of Vex enjoyed this video. Hopefully you guys want to become a Knight of Vex. So if you do, like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content. And I'll see you guys in the next one. May the Force be with you all.